Good morning and welcome to today's episode of Monday Morning Mobility. I'm Jeff Blanchard. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking today a little bit about carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel, I think for many people, sounds a little bit like rotator cuff. Oftentimes when I bring up rotator cuff with my patients, they get this worried look in their eyes like, oh my gosh, rotator cuff, I don't want to have surgery. Carpal tunnel, I think, creates a similar fear in a lot of people. Oh my gosh, I don't want to have carpal tunnel surgery. I know somebody who had that surgery. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what is the carpal tunnel and what is carpal tunnel syndrome. We have in our wrist, we have 8 little bones. Okay, those bones are called carpals. If you look at a wrist straight on, you will notice that those carpals kind of make a U-shaped space or trough, and what goes in the center of that U space, there are tendons and your median nerve. Carpal tunnel syndrome typically is pain and sometimes numbness and sometimes weakness that comes on because that nerve has been traumatized in some way. Sometimes with overuse, that can lead to wear and tear inside the tunnel. So those tendons that pass through the tunnel, that can create friction and that wear and tear, and then that can lead to inflammation. That can start to create pressure on the median nerve. You start to get some nerve-like symptoms. An example of a nerve symptom might be you start to feel some tingling, a little bit of numbness in the distribution where that nerve goes. So if you are doing something and your pinky falls asleep, it's not carpal tunnel syndrome. But if you are having tingling in this region of your hand, then that more likely is something that is involving the median nerve, which goes there, and it might be carpal tunnel syndrome. I'm going to share some examples of some things that might lead to this occurring. So let's say you're sitting and you have a job where you are working at a desk. Let's say your keyboard is up in this position above your elbows where it should not be. It places your wrists in a position here where they are not neutral. This is a neutral wrist. This is not a neutral wrist. This is not a neutral wrist. Well, you can move your wrist around just fine, but if you continue to use your fingers in a position of non-neutrality, then that over time can create wear and tear through the carpal tunnel. So I'm here in this position, typing, doing whatever I'm doing, and then all of a sudden you start noticing that you're getting some symptoms. So again, it might be here, it's just any position where you might use your wrist where you're out of neutral and then doing repetition that can lead to that wear and tear. So as I've mentioned in previous episodes, the best way to deal with an injury, especially an overuse injury that's coming on, you need to figure out where is it coming from and what are you doing that's creating the problem. If you don't remedy that, then you can do all the best exercises in the world and possibly not repair the problem or remedy the problem. Is it how are you using your hands and your wrists? Are you maintaining that neutral position or are you getting them out of that position for extended periods of time? Sleeping is another potential problem. So oftentimes when people sleep, they sleep with their wrists in a flexed position and they'll get into this position. So the wrist is too far bent in one position where that puts pressure on the carpal tunnel or on the median nerve. And then you wake up where your hand's asleep and you got to shake it out and that can be a problem. So one of the things that you might do to help this is to look for a special splint or a brace that oftentimes you can pick up at the local pharmacy that you can put on at night that will hold your wrist in about this position and keep you in a neutral position. And so you can't sleep in here or here, so that can help lessen the stress on that nerve. Another thing that you might do during the day, you can do some general stretching to open up that tunnel so you can get into this position and pull the hand back and hold a stretch like this. I might say you want to hold this for say 20 or 30 seconds. Unless it increases your symptoms into your fingers. If that is actually irritating your nerve, don't do it. Don't do anything that actually makes your symptoms worse. But if you feel like, okay, that just kind of feels like a good stretch, I like that, then you can go ahead and do that. You might even also stretch the other side. You can turn the hand around and get into this position and pull the wrist down. Make sure that the back of your elbow is facing away from you like this, and then you'll actually feel like you're getting some stretch. If the back of your elbow is in this position, you won't really feel much. So you kind of have to rotate the back of your elbow around this way, and now I can feel a nice stretch on the back of that part of my hand. Another thing that you might do is just practice bringing each finger individually into your palm and then just gliding those tendons through the carpal tunnel to help improve their mobility. And then finally, the last thing that I would do, a little bit of ASTYM, what I oftentimes will do with my patients, I will take my tool and I will actually work on some different areas to try to break up adhesions, open up space, and I have had multiple cases when I've been able to do this and see carpal tunnel symptoms actually resolve. So thank you again for joining me for today's Monday Morning Mobility. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. Let people know that there are some things that they might be able to do to help them with carpal tunnel syndrome. Until next time, remember, if you don't move it, you could lose it.